applying for a U.S. visa to work with Kennesaw State University students, Senegalese choreographer Kaolack received yet another reminder about the relevance of his work. Kaolack, whose artistic name is derived from the town of his birth north of the Gambia, was delayed in getting here, forcing the first of his interactive sessions with the KSU Dance Company to take place via Zoom. It was just the latest example in his own life of how borders, coincidentally the title of the new piece he designed for KSU students to perform, can place artificial barriers in the way of interpersonal exchange with uneven applications depending on one's race or nationality.
And for me to just come to the US, it was a bit challenging. American people can go everywhere, but no one can come like this. You know, well, unfortunately, but we did it. So for me, it was very important to say, to extend the people narrow vision about what they know about the world, or the white way of seeing the black African body, or trying to read the black African body. So to just extend the vision, just like we don't all have the privilege or the luxury or the class to do whatever we want to do, say whatever we want to say. Some people are very boxing, and I'm trying to just break all those boxes and stereotype and kick ass.
Borders is a new work created for Sage, a contemporary showcase from the Department of Dance at KSU's College of the Arts, set to take place on the evenings of November 10th and 11th. The theme goes beyond the physical boundaries that separate people internationally, says Assistant Professor Dasha Chapman, who plumbed her network to recruit Kaolack for a 2-week residency.
The concept of borders also became a way of crossing differences um, in terms of dance genres or aesthetics, blurring or becoming more fulsome in our embodied expressions outside of binaristic, understandings of gender, and also being just more inclusive and hospitable and welcoming in all these different ways. And so I think there's just been learning on all these different levels, which has been incredibly powerful and just wouldn't have happened if I was there with the students, just telling them these stories or telling them about people I know, right? So really hearing it from Kaolack, having him actually cross the threshold, coming to Kennesaw and bringing all that energy in his full self has, I think, really made an incredible lasting impact on the people who've been able to interact with him.
African dance, she says, is a genre that is rarely interrogated despite its deep impact on the United States, first imported via slavery and more recently adopted in epic-defining beats and movements.
Our U.S. popular culture is completely steeped in African dance and music traditions. I think our public awareness of that is very low. So that has been part of my mission as an educator, to really bring forward the histories of African and African diaspora artistry as they've informed pop culture, pop music, dance, all the things we see circulating on social media, the way we talk and interact with one another when we think it's cool. All of that is drawn from African aesthetics. And in terms of our curricula at the higher education level, we are still behind in recognizing the artistry of African-based forms and African artists, living artists.
KSU Global Education's more than 40-year Year of initiative paved the way for Kaolack's arrival. This year happens to be the Year of Senegal, featuring the culture, tradition, and economic impact of the West African country with an all-year, campus-wide series of programs. For student dancers, it was a profound departure from the standard learning practice.
It was a huge culture shock for myself because I've only been exposed to African dance a couple of times through some of the company classes that have been offered to us. And I have seen videos of some African dance, but it's nowhere near the experience of actually being in it and being involved in it. And it was a really huge shift going from training where it's very much all in the shoulders and up and being lifted to being very grounded and connected with the floor and those around you. And I'm not used to that, but it was really insightful to have that because I have now been able to actually find it in some of my other art forms where we have been taught to just lift up and be up here rather than lower.
Kaolack's focus on legacy and ancestry, emphasizing the role of the all-too-ignored black woman in history and society, as exemplified by the grandmother who raised him, also hit home with the students, helping them come together and build family in their troupe, transcending their own diverse heritages.
This is actually my first time working with a guest artist. Besides the other performers I've been in company, we really got to work with him as not only as a choreographer, but as a person, learning his background, learning how he cherished family so much. How does he able to come here, representing his identity and representing his culture, and being an international choreographer at the least is just a worldwide. It's just profound and very astounding to work with him.
Born Pape Ibrahim Ndiaye, Kaolack says he is a product of the blurring of lines, with a city boy father from colonial French West Africa who married a girl from the small rural town of Kaolack in what he calls Senegambia, a portmanteau of the two African countries where he grew up. He has also experienced the hard lines of identity up close, facing racism and problems with officialdom in the Czech Republic where he lived and danced for many years.
To come here to become a choreographer is also a way of being an activist, a child of Sheikh Anta Diop, you know. So we shouldn't forget about that, because what we're doing is not just to entertain. As I said, I'm here to open the narrow vision of the white and European or American-centric that has a little bit, or want to have a little bit knowledge of what's going on in the continent. And I'm here just to say, no, it's not how it goes. There's more beyond. It's Sankofa. I mean, Sankofa means to go back in the past. I'm here to bring the past in your face.
For the students, getting a window on Kaolack's experience was transformative.
The fact of Kaolack coming to America, the whole process of that, and him being late just because of the government and visas and applications and all that. So that added just like a drop of reality before we even started. That really gave us something to build off of, and then especially with just the state that the world is in right now, I think it's really opened our eyes.
Marcia Barsky, chair of the Department of Dance, jumped at the chance to support Dr. Chapman's ambition to bring in Kaolack through the Year of Senegal. The overarching performance will also feature the work of KSU choreographers hailing from India, Switzerland, and the United States.
We have over 50 students involved in the KSU Dance Company this semester, and Kaolack's work is one of 4 that will be presented on, as part of our concert, which is entitled Sage. We have the work of 2 full-time faculty members in the department, as well as our provost, who is a founding department chair of the Department of Dance at KSU. So the provost is also choreographing, and then our guest artist Kaolack. So it's a pretty eventful concert to have both the support of Year of from Global Education, and to have this illustrious professional working artist and engaging with our students, but then also to have the provost choreographing. So it's a special performance that I'm really looking forward to sharing it with Atlanta and Kennesaw.
I think it's not necessarily a piece that people are going to have to sit and kind of pick at their brain about. I don't think they're going to have to sit there and be like, oh, I don't know what that was about. I think it's just really about being in it and being in the experience of watching it, and blurring the lines between the audience and the participants of the dance, and really just feeling like it's all one communal experience.